The journey of digital creation, of immersive worlds and complex computations, doesn't begin with a CPU or a GPU. It begins with the foundation, the stage, the digital soul, if you will. It is the motherboard. And when we talk about building a truly new system today, one that doesn't just keep pace, but dictates the pace, we are talking about a major decision. A fork in the road that separates the past from the high-speed future. This choice is more than just a list of features. It's an investment in your potential, your patience, and your power. We are about to embark on a deep dive into the very bedrock of modern computing, dissecting the chips, the slots, the silent technologies that decide whether your next PC is a thoroughbred racehorse or just another workhorse. Are you ready to stop buying a computer and start building one? To truly understand the language of the platform? When AMD introduced the AM5 platform, they weren't just releasing a new line of CPUs. They were executing a complete paradigm shift, demanding a foundational change that ripples through every aspect of system design. This platform is not optional. It is the required foundation for the current mighty Ryzen 7000 series and the future, even more potent 9000 series processors. It is where all the modern power begins. The most visible and perhaps the most crucial shift lies in the CPU socket itself. Gone are the days of the pin grid array, the PGA, where delicate pins lived on the bottom of the CPU, leaving installers constantly anxious about bending them. AM5 champions the LGA, or land grid array, design. Now, the hundreds of tiny resilient pins reside safely on the motherboard, while the CPU itself has small gold pads. This simple change vastly improves the physical stability and longevity of the socket, simplifying the installation process and giving builders a much-needed sigh of relief. But the platform's true muscle is found in its technological requirements. AM5 is synonymous with cutting-edge connectivity. It is the mandatory gateway to DDR5 memory, which is not merely faster than its DDR4 predecessor. It handles data with a higher density, improved power efficiency, and a dual-channel sub-architecture within a single stick. This means quicker rendering, faster game load times, and a tangible boost to system responsiveness that a modern CPU absolutely needs to breathe. Furthermore, AM5 opens the door wide to PCIe Gen 5, the latest generation of the peripheral interconnect standard. This is the invisible superhighway for data. While today's GPUs might not saturate a Gen 5 link, the blistering speeds of a Gen 5 NVMe SSD capable of read speeds exceeding 12,000 megabytes per second means boot-ups are near instantaneous and massive files transfer in the blink of an eye. This modern connectivity, from the robust pin layout to the high-speed I/O, is what defines an AMD new generation system, separating it from the constraints of the last decade. It's not just a motherboard. It's a commitment to performance ceiling. Our first stop on the AM5 journey introduces us to the B650 chipset, the original entry-level gateway. In the hierarchy of high-tech, this is the accessible starting point. The workhorse built to pair with a mid-range Ryzen 5 or a power-efficient Ryzen 7. These boards were, for a long time, the practical and affordable foundation for the new platform, making the leap to DDR5 and the AM5 socket achievable without breaking the bank. B650 boards are masters of practicality. They typically offer solid, if not extreme, power delivery, the VRM design, capable of handling most CPUs under stock conditions. Their main concession, the necessary compromise to reach that lower price point, is in the primary connectivity. Specifically, B650 typically offers only PCIe Gen 4 support for the main graphics card slot, while a Gen 5 slot is theoretically faster, practically speaking. No current GPU truly maxes out a Gen 4x16 link, meaning for 99% of today's gamers, the performance difference is zero. The storage solution is also built on prudence. Builders usually get 2 or perhaps 3 SSD slots, mainly Gen 4, providing speeds that are already exponentially faster than the SATA drives of old. For the everyday user, the casual gamer, or the content consumer, the B650 delivers everything needed: fast CPU, fast RAM, and fast enough storage. However, the technology landscape is always moving, and here lies the B650's challenge. AMD is slowly phasing them out. As newer, more capable mid-range chipsets emerge, which we'll get to shortly, the B650 becomes a victim of progress. Its long-term value is inherently limited. If you find a fantastic deal on a B650, it remains a capable board, but buying a brand new full price, Model today means you are knowingly accepting a more constrained upgrade path, limiting your system's potential to utilize the absolute fastest GPUs and SSDs that will arrive in the next 2 years. It's a capable past, but not necessarily a future-proof investment. The story shifts now to the B650E, the designation where one simple letter changes the entire philosophy of the motherboard. The E stands for extreme, and while it carries a small price premium over the standard B650, it represents a monumental leap in long-term value. It democratizes true next-generation readiness. The defining feature of the B650E models is the guaranteed PCIe Gen 5 support for the primary graphics slot. This single inclusion immediately makes the board future-proof in a way the B650 is not. Imagine the next generation of GPUs, the ones that will eventually require that Gen 5 bandwidth for maximum fidelity and efficiency. The B650E is ready for them without compromise. For a dedicated gamer who replaces their GPU every 2 to 3 years, this is the near-ideal investment. It's peace of mind wrapped in silicon. But the extreme label often extends beyond just the slots. These boards frequently feature stronger VRM voltage regulator module designs. This is the unsung hero of the motherboard, the component that cleans and delivers consistent power to your demanding CPU. A stronger VRM translates to cooler operation, better stability under heavy loads such as intensive gaming sessions or continuous video rendering, and the ability to sustain higher clock speeds and handle the CPU's maximum energy draw without thermal throttling the power delivery itself. This is particularly crucial if you plan to utilize features like AMD's Precision Boost Overdrive, PBO, for enhanced automatic performance. The B650E is presented as the most intelligent bridge for the performance-minded user. It provides the essential connectivity of the flagship boards, ensuring your path to the future remains open without forcing you to pay the premium for features you may never use, such as the multitude of extra PCIe lanes or the extreme I/O of the higher-tier chipsets. It's not just a budget option. It's an optimized one. As technology matures, the sweet spot moves. And our story now brings us to the B850, the chipset introduced to take the crown as AMD's modern mid-range standard. This is where the foundation of an AM5 build reaches its most balanced and compelling state. The B850 is not just an incremental update. It represents the current design philosophy for the mass market, integrating advanced features that were previously reserved for the expensive flagship boards. The B850 establishes its dominance with guaranteed full-spec PCIe Gen 5 support for both the graphics slot and at least one dedicated SSD slot. This dual Gen 5 capability is transformative. It means you can pair a powerful future GPU with a truly instantaneous Gen 5 NVMe SSD reserved for your boot drive and primary applications, while still having secondary Gen 4 slots for your vast game library or archival data. This combination maximizes performance where it matters most: system responsiveness and primary data access speed. Beyond the slots, the B850 defines the modern standard for connectivity. We are seeing a widespread inclusion of faster networking, often 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, a necessity in the modern home where multi-gigabit fiber connections are becoming common, and local network transfers, like NAS backups, need speed. Furthermore, integrated Wi-Fi is no longer a luxury, but a standard feature, often supporting the latest Wi-Fi 6E or even Wi-Fi 7 protocols, ensuring low-latency wireless gaming and seamless streaming. In essence, the B850 takes all the lessons learned from the initial B650 and X670 generations and distills them into a coherent, high-value package. It is the architectural sweet spot for the vast majority of new builds today, offering a comprehensive feature set that caters to the high-demand gamer, the student and the mainstream content creator, ensuring their system is both powerful now and incredibly flexible for upgrades down the line. It's the point where you stop thinking about constraints and start focusing purely on performance. We now escalate to the high-end X870 series, a motherboard tier designed for the power user, the multitasker, and the specialist who requires more lanes, more ports, and more total bandwidth than the B series can offer. Think of the X870 as the digital command center, a hub built for maximum expansion and connectivity. The fundamental difference lies in the sheer volume of available resources. X870 boards unlock expanded storage capacity, supporting a much higher number of Critically, it allocates more PCIe lanes directly from the CPU, allowing for advanced configurations like multiple high-speed expansion cards, capture cards, or specialized networking hardware running in parallel without choking the primary components. You'll find a massive cluster of USB options, including the higher density of 10 gigabits per second and 20 gigabits per second Type-A and Type-C ports, essential for streamers connecting multiple cameras, microphones, external drives, and controllers, all while maintaining maximum data throughput. Better Ethernet speeds, often 5 gigabit or even 10 gigabit, become standard here, crucial for heavy-duty network file transfers or professional environments. However, the X870 story comes with a crucial caveat, a catch that the shrewd buyer must heed. Some cheaper X870 boards may still offer less than a strong B850. The X870 designation guarantees more chipset lanes and I/O, but it doesn't guarantee quality of implementation. A poorly designed, lower-tier X870 might skimp on VRM cooling or use inferior audio components, making a premium B850 with top-shelf VRMs, better integrated Wi-Fi, and faster networking the superior practical choice. The script here is clear. The high-end tier requires careful comparison. You're not just buying a chipset. You're buying the quality of its surrounding components. We have reached the absolute summit of the AMD motherboard landscape. The X870E, the elite flagship tier. This is the motherboard for the professional who treats time as money, the extreme enthusiast who demands stability under peak load, and the creator whose livelihood depends on the fastest possible rendering and compilation times. This is the ultimate pairing for a top-end Ryzen 9 processor. The Y in X870E signifies maximum, uncompromised implementation. It guarantees PCIe Gen 5 not only on the graphics slot but on multiple SSD slots, often ensuring that every single M2 slot is running at the fastest available speed. This is essential for creators running project files, scratch disks, and export folders all on hyperspeed storage, eliminating the I/O bottleneck entirely. The architecture is built for sustained, heavy workload stability. Expect massive, complex heatsinks covering every inch of the power delivery components, enabling the board to run cooler and cleaner, supporting the highest power states of a Ryzen 9 under continuous load for hours on end. The rear I/O is often extended, pushing the boundaries of connectivity with more 20 gigabits per second, USB-C ports, Thunderbolt compatibility, and integrated solutions for niche professional peripherals. Furthermore, stronger audio solutions, often utilizing dedicated DACs and advanced shielding, ensure the purest signal path for audio production and communication. X870E is not about gaming. No, it handles that effortlessly. It's about creator-grade stability. It's the platform that guarantees a high core count processor will maintain its maximum performance. Day in and day out, whether you're training an AI model, compiling a massive codebase, or rendering a cinematic 4K animation, this is the definition of maximum performance choice. An investment that validates its steep price tag by eliminating all possible hardware limitations. Stepping down the scale dramatically, we dip into AMD's lowest-tier AM5 chipset, the A620. This is the ultra-budget option. While it serves a specific purpose, it comes with a litany of restrictions that force the potential buyer to seriously question its long-term value. More critically, the power delivery, the VRM design is often incredibly weak, barely sufficient to handle a mid-range CPU at stock settings. This weakness dictates the board's capability, making it unsuitable for high core count processors like the Ryzen 9 or even the more aggressive Ryzen 7 chips. Furthermore, A620 boards lack support for Precision Boost Overdrive, PBO, AMD's automatic performance-enhancing technology. While this feature is often taken for granted on B-series boards, its removal here prevents the CPU from efficiently utilizing its power and thermal headroom to gain free, automatic performance. You are buying a fast CPU but then putting a speed limiter on its foundation. The storage and port limitations are also severe, often offering only one or two basic SSD slots, and minimal rear I/O, its value is only truly realized for extremely small, non-upgradable or budget-constrained builds. Perhaps for a simple home office PC or a media center where the workload is minimal. For anyone considering an upgrade in the next 3 to 5 years, or anyone pairing it with a powerful GPU, the A620's limitations will quickly become a source of system bottleneck and buyer's remorse. It's functional, but inherently restrictive. The B840 arrives as a confusing option in the AM5 landscape, a cut-down variant that attempts to bridge the gap between the severely limited A620 and the highly capable B850. However, in the brutal calculus of price to performance, the B840 often lands in a valley of low value, making it largely unnecessary. The existence of the B840 is a prime example of a subtle marketing trap. The price difference between a B840 and a full-featured B850 is often minimal, perhaps only $20 or $30 at retail. Yet for that small saving, you are losing Gen 5 future-proofing and the critical PBO functionality that can deliver significant, free performance when you upgrade to a faster CPU down the line. It's the paradox of saving a small amount of money now only to incur a large cost in lost upgrade, flexibility, and diminished performance later. The B840 sits in an awkward position. It's not cheap enough to be the only choice over a 620. We now leave the cutting-edge landscape of AM5 and turn back the clock to the foundational platform that defined a generation. AM4. This is the platform that powered the legendary Ryzen 5000 processors and introduced the world to multi-core mainstream computing. While the story of AM5 is about the future, the story of AM4 remains immensely relevant today for two crucial reasons: its vast legacy installed base and its enduring value proposition. Unlike AM5's LGA design, the AM4 platform used the older PGA arrangement, where the CPU itself had the fragile array of pins. This platform spent years in the market, allowing it to mature and for motherboard production to be optimized, leading to incredible price efficiency today. Although it is now formally considered legacy, AM4 motherboards and their associated CPUs remain highly relevant. For millions of users still running older Ryzen processors, say, a 1000 or 2000 series chip, an AM4 motherboard, particularly a B550, represents the most cost-effective path to a massive performance increase. Upgrading a CPU to a Ryzen 5 5600 or a Ryzen 7 5700X on an existing AM4 board or a new, low-cost AM4 board offers a performance gain that often rivals a full platform jump, but at a fraction of the cost since there is no need to buy expensive DDR5 memory. AM4 is not for the person who wants the absolute fastest system, but for the person who wants the best value system. It is the powerhouse for the budget enthusiast, a testament to AMD's commitment to platform longevity. The question isn't whether AM4 is still good. It's which AM4 motherboard still makes the most sense today. If AM4 is the reliable legacy platform, then the B550 chipset is its indisputable champion, the most practical, well-rounded, and dependable choice still available today. It is the dependable mainstream pick, an absolute powerhouse when paired with any modern Ryzen 5000 series CPU. The B550 was a masterful design because it strategically brought high speed connectivity to the masses without the complexity or cost of its flagship counterpart. It offers a crucial mix of PCIe Gen 4 and Gen 3 support. The primary graphics slot and the main M2 SSD slot are wired for the faster Gen 4 standard, providing excellent bandwidth for the GPU and the primary boot drive speeds that, again, are perfectly adequate for 99% of tasks today. Secondary slots and peripherals typically run on Gen 3, which keeps costs down while still maintaining high functionality. The design maturity of the B550 means that most boards feature solid power delivery, VRMs, capable of efficiently handling even the 8-core and 12-core Ryzen 5000 chips. Furthermore, by the time B550 was released, motherboard connectivity had become standardized, ensuring good I/O, sufficient USB ports, and reliable networking. Framing the B550 today, it is the best value option for Ryzen 5000. It offers all the necessary speed without any unnecessary expense. It is the perfect partner for that budget-friendly Ryzen 5 5600 or the highly efficient Ryzen 7 5700X, providing a rock-solid foundation that will power gaming and productivity for years to come. In the world of legacy hardware, B550 is the gold standard for mainstream performance. The X570 chipset holds a special place in the AM4 history books. It was the platform's original flagship, the first to embrace full PCIe Gen 4 capabilities across the entire board GPU, primary storage, and secondary slots. At the time of its release, this was a revolutionary commitment to speed, offering unprecedented bandwidth for multi-GPU and multi-SSD configurations. However, time has not been kind to the X570 as a choice for new builds today. Its primary issue stems from the chipset's architecture itself. It was a power-hungry design that generated a significant amount of heat. This necessity for active cooling meant that many X570 boards featured a small, often noisy fan directly on the chipset heatsink, a point of failure and a nuisance that builders today try to avoid. More importantly, scarce availability and outdated firmware make them impractical for new construction. Finding a new X570 motherboard that hasn't been sitting on a shelf for years is difficult, and even when you do, the initial setup can be frustrating. Many early X570 boards require a firmware update to properly support the latest Ryzen 5000 CPUs, turning what should be a simple build into a complicated troubleshooting session. While the performance is undeniable, the complexity, the heat issues, and the better, fanless experience of a B550 board mean that X570, despite its solid heritage, is best left as a memory. It served its purpose as the trailblazer, but for a new Ryzen 5000 build, the B550 offers a vastly superior, more reliable, and quieter user experience. The A520 chipset is the absolute ultra-budget entry point into the AM4 ecosystem. It exists to provide the cheapest possible foundation for a budget Ryzen 3 or a power-efficient Ryzen 5, but its restrictions quickly diminish its practical value for anything beyond a basic low-demand system. The core limitation of the A520 is its strict adherence to PCIe Gen 3. This affects both the graphics card slot and the SSD slots. While Gen 3 SSDs are still fast, their speed is noticeably lower than Gen 4, and the lack of future-proofing is complete. Furthermore, the A520 boards lack overclocking capabilities entirely, locking the already basic power delivery and restricting the CPU to its stock performance curve. The most concerning issue for a modern build is the potential for GPU compatibility or bandwidth issues with high-end modern graphics cards. While the PCIe Gen 3 bandwidth is usually sufficient, modern, high-end GPUs that utilize a limited number of PCIe lanes, such as X8, or are extremely bandwidth-hungry, can occasionally experience performance degradation. Ultimately, the small price gap between a severely limited A520 and a much more capable B550 is negligible. The B550 offers Gen 4 support, overclocking potential, and far better VRMs, all for a minor price increase. The A520 is useful only for a PC that is solely intended for basic web browsing, word processing, or a simple media server. For any gaming or creative workload, the A520 is a compromise that can lead to performance frustration. Our final stop in the AM4 world is the B450 chipset, a platform that has served its time admirably, but is now firmly categorized as aging legacy hardware. It was the workhorse of the mid-2010s, but today, its use is relegated to rescue missions and maintaining existing systems, not building new ones. The B450 is primarily limited by its fundamental design, full PCIe Gen 3 limitations across the board. Furthermore, due to its age, inconsistent Ryzen 5000 support is a major concern. Because the B450 was released before the 5000 series, any new old stock board you buy will almost certainly require a BIOS update to recognize the newer CPUs. This often necessitates a complicated process of sourcing an older, compatible CPU, a boot CPU, or using a specific motherboard feature like BIOS. Flashback, a technical hurdle that an average builder should not have to face. The overall outdated design, including older I/O controllers and less robust power delivery, means B450 boards are unsuitable for modern high-demand components. They lack features we now consider standard, like fast networking or abundant 10 gigabits per second USB ports. While a B450 is perfectly functional for a legacy setup, perhaps upgrading an old system with a second-hand Ryzen 5 3600, it is entirely unsuitable for a modern build. The B550 is the minimum recommended entry point for a smooth, high-performance AM4 experience, leaving the B450 as a relic of a past generation, useful only for the most niche budget constraints. The chipset is the brain of the motherboard, but the form factor is the body, the physical dimensions that dictate how much expansion is possible and where your system can physically live. Choosing the right size is the first architectural decision you make, determining the case, the cooling, and the complexity of your build. The ATX form factor is the undisputed king of the industry, the standard layout that defines the vast majority of gaming and professional PCs. Measuring approximately 12 inches by 9.6 inches, it offers the full expansive canvas for hardware architects. ATX boards are the most versatile because their size allows for maximum feature integration. They typically offer a full complement of multiple PCIe slots for GPUs, sound cards, capture cards, etc. Generous spacing for multiple M.2 SSDs, and ample room for the chipset and VRM heatsinks. This size allows for easy cable management and maximum airflow, simplifying the building process and ensuring better thermal performance. Commonly used across both AM5 and AM4 boards, from the mid-range B series to the high-end X series, ATX is the recommendation for anyone building a mid-range to high-end system where versatility and ease of building are prioritized. It's the Goldilocks zone, not too big, not too small, but perfectly accommodating. Moving down one step, we encounter the Micro ATX or mITX form factor. This size represents the perfect balance between compactness and capability. It is the practical choice for budget builders and those seeking a slightly smaller, more discreet PC tower. The mITX board sacrifices some width and usually cuts down the number of full-length PCIe slots, often to 1 or 2. However, it crucially retains 4 RAM slots on most models and offers essential storage connections, meaning primary performance CPU, GPU, and RAM is not compromised. Fitting well in the smaller, more budget-friendly compact cases, mITX allows builders to reduce the overall volume of their PC without sacrificing performance features like a powerful GPU or fast SSDs. It's the intelligent compromise for a desk-side machine where every inch of space counts, offering a near ATX experience in a noticeably smaller footprint. At the very peak of the size hierarchy sits the EATX, Extended ATX form factor. This is the realm of extreme specialization, catering exclusively to the most demanding professionals and enthusiasts. EATX boards widen the standard ATX layout significantly. This expanded surface area is used to accommodate several key high-end features. Most importantly, it allows for more power phases, more robust VRM designs, with far larger cooling components, ensuring absolute stability for highly overclocked or maxed-out flagship processors. The extra real estate is also used for expanded storage, more M.2 and SATA ports, and a higher density of rear I/O typically found in the high-end X-series boards. X870EEATX requires large chassis that are often designed with server-like cooling and cable management in mind. This is not a choice for the average user. It is for the user building an extreme workstation for 3D rendering, machine learning, or professional-grade simulation, where the need for uncompromised cooling and power delivery is the top priority. The mini-ITX or mITX form factor is the darling of the small form factor, SFF community. Measuring a tiny 6.7 inches square, it represents the ultimate engineering challenge, squeezing flagship-level performance into the smallest possible space. mITX boards are defined by their tight component limits. They have only 2 RAM slots and a single full-length PCIe slot, and cooling is an intricate puzzle due to the lack of internal space. They are best suited for SFF gaming PCs that sit discreetly on a desk or high-performance media PCs that fit into a living room setup. The challenge of mITX is that they are often more expensive than their mITX counterparts. The miniaturization of high-end components, like squeezing a robust VRM onto a tiny PCB and ensuring it can still be cooled, requires premium engineering. Building an SFF machine demands thoughtful hardware pairing, often requiring specialized coolers and careful cable management. It is a tight, intricate box, but the end result, a powerhouse that fits anywhere, is an engineering marvel. The chipset and form factor provide the blueprint, but it is the manufacturer who is the architect, turning the silicon into a living, breathing component. Each of the major brands approaches the motherboard design with a distinct philosophy, catering to different needs from the practical builder to the high-end enthusiast. Understanding these philosophies is crucial to making the right choice. ASRock has carved out a distinct space in the market, often providing robust, feature-rich motherboards that punch above their weight class. Their philosophy balances practical needs with advanced engineering, making them the choice of the builder who values substance over pure aesthetic flash. Their lineup spans a wide range, starting with modest B850M boards that provide excellent foundational features at an accessible price. Stepping up, their Profi designs become highly attractive, often integrating 3 SSD slots and widespread Wi-Fi connectivity, practical features that matter for a modern user. ASRock focuses on what works rather than what just looks good. At the flagship level, we find the iconic Taichi X870X870E models. These are true enthusiast boards, known for their unique gear-themed aesthetics and maximum feature set, full cooling solutions, high-end audio components, and extensive rear connectivity that rivals any competitor. Furthermore, their mITX Lightning boards are champions of small form factor versatility, taking the best of their engineering and condensing it for the SFF challenge. ASRock is the quiet engineering force that offers great value across the entire spectrum. MSI, Microstar International, defines dependability and a focused approach to gaming performance. Their product stack is clearly delineated, making it easy for a buyer to find a board that matches their budget and ambition. The entry point is the affordable Pro Series boards, which focus on delivering modern networking and reliable power delivery, without unnecessary frills, the perfect foundation for a simple workstation or budget build. The heart of their lineup is the legendary MAG Tomahawk series, a board that has become the gold standard for the mid-range. Tomahawk models are gamer-focused, featuring strong VRMs capable of handling most CPUs, multiple Gen 4/Gen 5 SSD slots, and a design that is built for reliability. The premium tier includes designs equipped with multiple high-speed USB-C ports and advanced power stages, catering to the heavy streamer and content creator. Even their ITX offerings, such as the flagship mITX board, are engineered to pack the latest technology, including Wi-Fi 7 and high-performance layouts, into the tightest spaces. MSI is the brand that offers a clear, reliable path for the mainstream and enthusiastic gamer. Gigabyte's strategy is one of clear segmentation, offering distinct product lines that appeal to different buyer profiles, with a consistent focus on robust cooling and high-quality build materials. Their Eagle and gaming models are aimed squarely at value seekers, delivering a solid foundation with excellent VRM cooling and sufficient SSD support to power mid-range systems reliably. These boards are the workhorses, designed to provide stability without fanfare. The story escalates with their Aorus boards, which represent their flagship performance tier. Aorus expands features with advanced connectivity, including high-speed USB solutions and premium audio processing, often encased in large heatsink plates that emphasize robust thermal management. Gigabyte is particularly proud of its cooling solutions, ensuring that their VRMs and chipsets run efficiently. A unique and highly successful venture is their I-Series, which emphasizes a striking white aesthetic, a visual choice that has become incredibly popular for custom builders. This series extends to compact ITX models, often incorporating the latest features like Wi-Fi 7, proving that Gigabyte can deliver both high performance and a distinct visual statement, from the budget build to the enthusiast's showpiece. We conclude our brand breakdown with ASUS, the industry titan whose product lines represent the full spectrum of engineering excellence, from reliable workhorse to technological showstopper. Their foundational lines, the Prime and TUF boards, are designed to balance pricing with essential features. Prime is the no-frills, reliable option, while the TUF, the Ultimate Force line, emphasizes durability and reliability, often featuring military-grade components and robust stress testing. offering excellent value for the performance gamer. The Prestige and Performance lines are the Strix and ROG Republic of Gamers series. These boards are where ASUS pushes the boundaries of design and technology. They deliver enhanced cooling through massive complex heatsinks, striking RGB styling, and a full complement of cutting-edge features. This includes multiple Gen 5 SSD slots, the integration of the latest Wi-Fi 7 technology, and extensive high-speed Type-C layouts. These are the boards for the demanding professional and the performance enthusiast who wants a complete, uncompromising experience. Even in the small form factor, ASUS maintains its flagship philosophy. The mITX Strix B850i boards, for example, manage to keep high-end features, strong VRMs, and fast I/O in a tiny footprint, proving that a smaller size does not necessitate a lesser experience. ASUS represents a commitment to comprehensive feature sets and cutting-edge adoption at every price point. We have journeyed through the entire landscape, from the ultra-premium X870E, designed for the fastest core Ryzen 9, back to the dependable legacy of the B550, and through the physical constraints of the ATX and mini-ITX form factors. You now possess a detailed map of the digital foundation. What is the ultimate lesson here? It is this: you do not build your system around the CPU. You build it around the motherboard. The CPU is a component you can replace easily. The GPU is a component you swap out regularly. But the motherboard is the infrastructure that defines your system's longevity, its upgrade path, and its ability to handle future components. A cheap motherboard like the 620 will limit a powerful CPU and create a bottleneck that you cannot buy your way out of without replacing the entire foundation. A well-chosen motherboard, like the B850, provides headroom for years of CPU and GPU upgrades. So, here is the advice to take away, the key to applying this knowledge to your own life. The golden rule: always allocate a slightly larger portion of your budget to your motherboard than you initially planned. A B850 on the AM5 platform is the minimum recommended entry point for a truly modern, future-proof build. It is the sweet spot of value and capability. Choose the foundation that will allow you to grow, not one that will restrict your potential. The practical wisdom: for most users, the ATX form factor is the best choice for ease of use and cooling. For those building a budget AM4 system, the B550 is the non-negotiable best option. Now that you know the hidden stories behind the chipsets, what component do you realize you have been consistently undervaluing in your past builds? Has this shifted your focus from the flashy GPU to the silent, complex foundation? Let us know in the comments below. We hope this deep dive helps you on your next build, ensuring your system is not just fast, but fundamentally sound. May your VRMs run cool, your speeds be fast, and your builds be flawless. Wishing you the very best of health and happy building. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. I hope this has demystified the inner world of your computer. Wishing you all the very best of health and happiness. And if you found this journey as fascinating as I did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the heart of technology.